It looks like one of the teams might come in now and remove these vendors from the road. It's just insane. Like, this is a major road and they keep obstructing it every day, 1 or 2 lanes. Good morning everyone, MMDA back on the road. Right now they're across from SM Breeze condos. You'll see there's a lot of vehicles parked here on the sidewalk. They ticket vehicles here all the time, so it's quite common. Anyway, everyone's coming in now and they're issuing tickets. Some of these faces I've actually seen many times, especially the van drivers. It's usually the same guys parked here, so they know the drill already. And I imagine the sidewalk clearing team might come in and take this sign away. Unfortunately, the rain is already starting to come down, so that might affect my footage today. The team are actually acting on a complaint from the Presidential Complaint Center, although I think it primarily revolves around the vendors in Baclaran. So we'll see if they're able to act on that today. You'll see over here they're actually using an umbrella, because if the tickets get damaged they have to pay for that personally, so it's very important that they keep them dry. You'll see the condo does actually have paid parking available. A lot of people don't use it because they say it's too expensive, but it's cheaper than getting a ticket from the MMDA for illegal parking, especially if they add obstruction. That could be as much as 3,000 peso. And over here the team are issuing a ticket to this vehicle parked in front of Jollibee. It's also on a pedestrian crossing, and look, motorcycle there, 2 riders, no helmets. They're asking now to see the license. Apart from no helmets, also wearing slippers, which is a dress code violation. And he just threw a cigarette on the floor, which is also a violation, littering. And what you'll notice is that Baclaran has actually got worse. If these were cars, they'd be issued tickets for illegal parking and obstruction, but because it's vendors, there's no penalty. And although some of the vendors are now rolling away, there's actually no point, because the MMDA are not going to confiscate anything. These vendors are highly organized. There are people working behind the scenes on their behalf trying to negotiate deals. There's a lot of corruption involved in Baclaran, and it's not acceptable. Today's complaint went through the Presidential Complaint Center. That means it's from the Office of the President. So it should be acted on immediately and without any consideration. You see some of the guys here haven't even woken up yet. Oh, there you go. Now, of course, some people inside the MMDA try to negotiate with the vendors, give them a legitimate space to occupy so that they wouldn't obstruct the road. But of course that didn't work out, and things actually got worse here in Baclaran. Good way to get around the city, no traffic in the air. And of course this is another common complaint in Baclaran. Most of the smaller roads in the area are completely occupied by vendors. You can see right now that more vendors are trying to push their carts down there, but it's used as storage, so they can't even fit them because there's already too many carts there. And in front of the church here you'll see this big installations, absolutely incredible. I mean, you can't purely blame the MMDA, because it's the local units, the barangay, the city, that usually allow this, either officially or unofficially. We could talk about that all day. There's a lot to talk about, but yeah, just incredible, 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 incredible. I have no other words, just incredible.
Ang tanong ko po sa inyo, kayo po ba yung pumesto rito? Nakipag-usap po kayo sa
pinagbigyan daw sa barangay po. Sa barangay po, sir.
Sa barangay. So, admin lang ng barangay, pumayag kayo rito.
According to the leader of the vendors here, he actually went to the MMDA office and had this approved. 1 lane to be occupied by vendors for Ramadan. Most of the vendors have now rolled away along the road. Literally just rolled away. You'll see they're doing an interview about it now. To say vendors aren't allowed in front of the church. And of course it's not just in front of the church, there's a lot of vendors in front of these businesses here. The businesses do complain to the authorities that, hey, our business is being blocked by vendors, but it's pretty much tough luck. You'll see over here, guy, sorry I forgot his name, but head of sidewalk clearing for MMDA, he's here today. I'm not sure if he'll be doing a clearing operation or not. And if you look down the road here, you'll see all of the vendors that the MMDA cleared before in front of this business. Based on the complaint, they're all back as well. So nothing changes because there's no penalty. So if you just tell vendors, hey, roll away, they're going to roll back again. They're not going to take you seriously. And of course they're very organized. There's actually people all around here with radios. They're all updating each other, saying, hey, they're here, they're doing this, they're doing that. They're very organized because there's a lot of money in this, millions of pesos per week in this. It's really big business, because these aren't like simple buko vendors or something like that. You can see they're selling pirated DVDs, they're selling copies of sneakers, like fake sneakers, and all kinds of things. So it's really big business. And over here you'll find a permanently assigned MMDA. Unfortunately, when it comes comes to vendors, permanently assigned employees doesn't work because they become familiar with the vendors and then they become less effective. So you'll see right here they're occupying the road, they're obstructing the crosswalk there for pedestrians. Some of their carts are on the private property of Max's. That road there completely occupied by vendors. The shops here extended into the road. If you look over here in front of Dunkin' Donuts, they're blocking their entrance. It's pretty much everywhere. If you own a shop here, if you own a building, bad luck. That's why many of them have the shutters closed, because they just can't do business anymore. The vendors own Baclaran, and that's just how it is. Over here you'll see electric tricycle. Actually, there's a lot of them operating here. There's a lot of complaints because most of them are not permitted. They don't have any kind of franchise or permit to carry passengers for money, but they do it anyway. Over here you normally find Calorum vans, although those ones appear to have markings. Yeah, welcome to Baclaran. Over here you'll see a barker. A lot of people question the legitimacy of a barker. In fact, Quezon City has an anti-barker ordinance, local ordinance, because a lot of people find it unfair because they collect extra money from the drivers or from the passenger themselves. Like right here, okay, you have to give me 10 peso or whatever, or 20 peso in that case. So yeah, I mean, it's really not that hard to flag down a taxi, but sometimes the barkers take over the area and you feel intimidated and you feel like you have to give money just to get a taxi. Or they'll say to taxis, hey, you can't stop here if you're not going to pay us. It looks like one of the teams might come in now and remove these vendors from the road. It's just insane. Like, this is a major road and they keep obstructing it every day, 1 or 2 lanes. But it looks like they're just making them roll on, so there won't be any long-term change from this, unfortunately. Roll away, roll back. And you can see right now there's an ambulance trying to get through. Can't get through because of illegal vendors obstructing the road. What a joke. If the vendors weren't occupying 2 lanes, the ambulance could get through much easier. Down here you'll find more stores. There's a police station here, and then over there there's an MMDA, like a satellite office. Anyway, the reason why I'm going up the stairs, I just want to show you just how many vendors are actually here in the road. Some people would say, hey, you need to build more roads to deal with the traffic. But actually, there's a lot of roads already. They're just not being used for what they were designed for. And some people say, hey, they're just poor struggling vendors. But look at what they're selling. They're not poor struggling vendors. They just don't want to do business the right way because it's expensive. Getting a business permit, doing everything the right way, it's very difficult, it's very expensive. So if you do it on the road, you don't have to pay anything. All you have to do is pay illegal collectors, and that's it. You can do it however you want. Over here is the leader of the vendors speaking to the commander of the task force now. Even though the team are just over there, you'll see many vendors have actually returned to the front of the church, smoking in public place, also sleeping. These are only small vendors, although this cart here has been left because why take it away when you're just going to set it up again in a couple of hours anyway, as soon as the team leave. So this is the point, that they don't respect the MMDA because there's no penalty and they know they can just come back as soon as the team leave. And further along you'll see most of the carts have returned in front of Domino's, for example. Again, same reason. If there is no penalty, there's no reason to listen to authorities, and just come back and do the same thing every time. You'll see many members of Task Force Baclaran over here. They're just leaving now. Some of them are actually leaders of vendors in different parts. So that's the thing. The same people assigned to fix the problem with vendors are actually the ones that are sometimes, well, you can put 2 and 2 together. And there they go now. Of course, 2 of them back riding with no helmets. And I'm now walking back over here because look at what's in the road. This is really a joke. Already back in the road. I'm not sure how long it's been. I'll have to overlay it on the screen. We're back already, huh? No loading, unloading, parking, stopping, waiting any time. But the vendors are already back. Some MMDA have now come in to move vendors away from the church, although not all of them are listening. Some of them have decided to stay. All of these stores you see over here are new, by the way, occupying 1 lane of the road. It's been a while and a lot more vendors have now come out in front of KFC. and across from there the vendors have extended to occupy another lane. That's the reality, that often when they see the MMDA go here, they'll make it look nice. When they think they've left, they occupy more and more space. Traffic builds up, congestion builds up, and that's when all the complaints from members of the public come in. Here they're already making them bring down some of their extensions, but of course again when the team leave, those extensions will come out. You see many of the vendors are starting to roll away to avoid, well, I'm not sure what they're trying to avoid, because nothing will happen if they don't roll away. And if you look in front of the church, you'll see all of the vendors are back again. And yes, you'll see there's many vendors in the road again, occupying only one lane at the moment, but maybe later on it will be 2 lanes. And everyone coming home from work later, well, they'll just have to put up with the traffic, because the vendors will be occupying 1 to 2 lanes as a minimum. Plus, of course, inside here, most of the lanes. Over here, you'll see the MPCG satellite office from MMDA, and then some of the staff. And the commander of TFSO is asking them now, why is it that when TFSO go here, they can get rid of the vendors, for example, in front of KFC, but the team that are permanently assigned here, well, what are they doing exactly? And the leader of the vendors came back again. I think he might also work for the barangay, because I saw he had an ID for a task force Baclaran, so maybe, but I can't be sure. Although the MMDA is still here, many of the vendors have returned in front of KFC and across from there. I think they know already that the MMDA aren't going to be confiscating anything or any other kind of penalty, so they're not really paying attention, to be honest. Over there, some of the vendors are also bringing their umbrellas out again, so to extend over another lane.